There's a lot of assumptions around women just knowing stuff. Like, I'm just supposed to know what it takes to run a household. We don't know those things inherently.
Right.
We figure them out because we don't have a choice and because society tells us those are things we're supposed to do.
And as women, I feel like it's really hard to be us. We feel like we have to carry the weight of the world. And that's actually the narrative that is out there about women, that we carry the weight of the world, and especially Black women.
I'm still mad at people looking for Kamala like, Kamala, you see what Trump is doing right now? Where are you?
Save us. Like, if you move with wisdom and grace and you just have joy as, like, the forefront of who you are, then you're just not worried about all the other things. And you can be light. And you can give light to others. I don't know. Would we schedule our time to go out to eat?
No.
I don't think so.
This is Sistas Declassified, the podcast where
Taylor
and Taryn,
your virtual sisters, share experiences, insights, and of course the juicy secrets that never leave the sister circle.
So shh, listen up. The Declassified convos are starting now. Welcome back to Sistas Declassified. We're the real life sisters who decided to start a podcast instead of pretending being a woman isn't exhausting.
But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe for your weekly dose of declassified moments. I ran out of air.
See, I think things like this we should keep in, but
I don't care.
Okay.
That's fine. Should I say it again?
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe for your weekly dose of declassified moments.
All right, let's get into our declassified moment for today. A little declassified gospel.
About to lay it on us.
Letting go isn't a weakness, it's survival. You can't carry everything and expect to thrive.
It's a gospel right there.
Amen.
It actually reminds me of I think Phylicia Rashad was on the Breakfast Club, I think it was.
I think I saw clips of that.
I saw the interview of her. I don't know who she was talking to. I think it's a new girl from the Breakfast Club.
Lauren is her name, I believe.
Yes, I've seen all the back and forth with Just Hilarious. But
They just did a video not too long ago. The show is mine. They in on it together. They just did a like Monica Brandy. The show is mine. Little spoof
marketing.
Yeah, they're fine.
But right, and she just dropped a whole music video or something. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Phylicia Rashad. She had
everybody's mother.
Yeah, is it not on? Are you scared? It's not on. Okay, we're back. But anyways, what I was trying to say is that Lauren had asked Phylicia Rashad, why can't I talk still? She had asked Phylicia Rashad, like, how does it feel to be like the epitome of a Black woman who everyone looks up to? Like, that's a lot of pressure. And Phylicia was basically like, carry light. Light isn't heavy, right? Light is peace. And I really appreciated that statement. I know you're looking crazy. Like, what does that mean?
That sounds like one of them Black parables. Like, you said it's something and nothing all at once. So you gonna break it down for us?
Well, basically, what I understood it as is like, you don't carry what doesn't serve you. You move with grace, right? You lead with peace always. And like, you wouldn't catch her outside looking crazy. You would always see that she's just carrying light. She's not carrying the load of everybody else's expectations. She's only carrying her own. So y'all could look at me as the epitome of a Black woman, and that's great. But I'm not doing it for you guys. I'm doing it for myself.
She said your opinions are none of my business.
Not just that, but just that, like, if you move with wisdom and grace and you just have joy as, like, the forefront of who you are, then you're just not worried about all the other things. And you can be light. And you can give light to others in that same way. You're not worried about it, but you can still provide it.
Amen. That's the gospel.
Yeah. But I think that's another example of, like, letting go isn't weakness. Because she's letting go of people's expectations so that she could just be herself.
That does sound nice. I do be talking about that.
Yeah, and as women, I feel like it's really hard to be us. We feel like we have to carry the weight of the world. And that's actually the narrative that is out there about women. That we carry the weight of the world. And especially Black women, right?
Right. I'm still mad at people looking for Kamala like, Kamala, you see what Trump is doing right now? Where are you?
Save us.
Like, what? She applied and tried for this job. And who is coming to our door right now? And they can certainly see us. Lord have mercy.
Some Black lady.
It's 2 Black ladies.
Oh.
Pause.
If you watch the church episode, I think it's giving Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you handle that.
Before we were interrupted, and I was right, they were trying to get us to church. But before we were interrupted, I think I was just trying to get on, there's this narrative about how hard it is to be a woman or how hard it is to live in general. And she kind of makes me think about it in a different way. And I think about our grandmothers too, in terms of like, we didn't see people sweat before. That was not a thing to do. And I think it's important as mental health has come up, right? That people are more like telling their stories of their struggles to normalize it so you don't feel so alone in how you feel. But also, I think it's done like a huge 180 where now we're just trauma dumping and like sharing all of our stuff. And it's true that like we do carry emotional loads. There's financial pressure, there's career needs, there's unresolved trauma, there's friendship drama, there's systemic stuff. Like there's a whole bunch of things that happen as adults and even as kids watching your parents do things that would cause you a lot of stress. But I think her quote just reminds me that we can live in peace while there's chaos around us if what we feel internally is light.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm with you. Like it all sounds like something I would enjoy. I think sometimes I have a hard time like parsing through. I have a hard time parsing through the stuff to be light. Doesn't mean I don't have moments of lightness. I can't say that I would consider myself to be in a state of light as my like normal. So it's just interesting. It's like unsurprising to hear her say that because again of how we view her. It's like, yeah, we view you kind of like you're someone who moves with light. Like that seems accurate. You seem self-aware because that is your her like womanliness seems effortless, right? Like she was the model mom for a reason.
She embodies femininity.
Yeah, and like of course we know Claire Huxtable was a character, but was she? Right. Because Phylicia, I mean, she just moves like she knows who she is.
She was just reading those lines, but she was being herself.
Exactly. And so, I mean, I don't know. I think it's good to assess what you're carrying, to know whether or not like the things that you're holding on to are not allowing you to move in light. So it's good to think about. I think where I maybe get a little stuck is like, how do you do that? Like, how do you let go of what's unnecessary? How do you know what's unnecessary to hold when you know you have all of these responsibilities in life as well?
Well, I think there's this idea of like mental filters, right? So you don't see the good or when you are going through life, and maybe some areas you do, right? I'm not saying like you never see the good, right? Or right, you can have a mental filter like hers where you only see the positive, and that doesn't mean the bad isn't happening. It just means that what I'm focused on is the positive. Yeah. And so like letting go of, those old identities, letting go of the guilt for the things you did in the past or the mistakes that you made. It's easier said than done, but you have to be able to say, what is the thought I'm having and how can I actually flip it?
Yeah. I guess a couple episodes ago we talked about like being healed versus the healing journey. And I definitely know that there are spaces where I can do that, like at work where I feel like annoyed by everything. I can take a moment to pause and give myself space or ask for space or whatever to like ease some of that I would feel, the immediate weight, I guess, I would feel based on the thing that triggered me. But I think it's hard not to come back to it and circle back to it and like stay in the light. I still tease our mom because I tell her she be like
pooping sunshine
and rainbows out her butt. Like, girl, I need you to, if I'm here to complain, I'm here to complain. She'd be like, don't worry about it. Let it go. The Lord. And like, she's right. But sometimes I'm like, no. I want to hold it.
Sit in our...
Don't you say it. Don't you say it. Don't you say it.
I won't say the P word.
But
she wants to sit in it. Sometimes we all do. And even mom, sometimes I'm sure wants to sit in it. But you're right. I think she's a good example as well of trying to live and light and rather than what bogs you down. It really does make a difference in your ability to go because she don't sit down.
She really don't. I be tired just thinking about her.
Because if you think about, like, okay, you go into work and you're like, oh, this day's gonna drain me. And then that's what your day's really gonna do, is drain you, so that all you do after is go home and rot.
What's that TikTok sound? Today drained me.
Right, that's what I was thinking of. But I don't think I could see Phylicia Rashad thinking that. Even if something is going to be a long day, right? Or there's going to be a lot to do, she'd probably think, what great outfit should I wear to help me feel good throughout this day?
Fashion psychology is very real. I've read lots of books on it, because during the pandemic, when I was wearing sweats every day and not feeling good, I was like, what is going on? Let me research. Let me tap into my psychology bag. And as soon as I started dressing for my mood or to enhance my mood, whoo.
That's why I started picking out my outfits on on Sundays, because I was wearing sweatshirts and either my same old jeans, tight skinny jeans with my little tennis shoes, or leggings, and I'm like, that is not conducive to feeling good when you're at work, or feeling good in general. Like, I didn't do anything to feel good about myself today. All I did was put on this sweatshirt and show up at work.
And y'all should check out her content. She's a little TikToker now, full-on content creator.
Links in the description. But no, I wouldn't say I'm a full-on content creator, but I'm just having fun posting stuff. I think it's been nice to use posting as motivation to do things.
Welcome.
Yeah, so that has just been nice to do. But anyways, I think that's my way of trying to move with light, right? Like, picking out your outfits, I've definitely heard people be like, I don't want to do that. That takes so much effort. I don't have the time for that. And that's one way to think about it. But my thought process is, I'm not going to decide before I even do something that it's not going to work out, or that it's going to be uncomfortable to do, or it's going to be a waste of my time. I'm just going to think about how it's going to help me, right? Because I think the takeaway is that those one-time events, or those things you start to build rituals or routines, it's choosing yourself over and over again, rather than choosing, I don't know, I won't say what you choose for yourself, but for me, what it would be choosing is laying in my bed or scrolling on my phone.
That girl doom scroll.
Or even reading my book, because I will sit and read my book, and that's good, right? That's not the worst thing that I could be doing, but it's also like, if I'm spending hours doing it and I'm not attending to myself in other ways.
Right, it's not balanced.
Yeah, it's not balanced, exactly.
Well, I know that something I have been working to let go of, I would say over the last few years, is just my perfectionism. Learning to do things for the sake of doing them, not because I need to be good at them or the best at them, but just for, like, the sake of the activity. So, like, lately, I've been spending more time drawing on my iPad. And I'm actually not, like, I wouldn't consider myself a bad artist by any means. I think I have a hard time because I follow a lot of, like, art pages on Instagram and TikTok, and so I see people who are, like, really good, and then I live with an artist. And so sometimes I'll get stuck in the comparison of, like, the comparison and the capitalism of it all. Like, what am I making this for? Where's it going to go? Can I sell it? Is this going to be my new? When I really just need to back up. And so I actually stopped. Recently, I stopped trying to create anything new. I go on Google, type in coloring page. Maybe I look for a theme. Maybe I don't. I look for stuff that looks like it's not going to take me forever. But it'll give me a little while to just color in. And I'll be coloring. This week, I was coloring a frog. And it's not because I need to look like the best coloring frog in the world, but just because I need, like, some mindful activity to do that, like, engages my body in other ways, allows me to just kind of, like, zone out, chill out, without having to think about the perfection of being an artiste.
Right. Yeah, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and then it takes the joy out of things. It makes something heavy that should be light. Right,
because I realized I was like, well, what style of art is this? Is it going to be like in realism? And I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about, right? I'm like, so do I need to do a sketch first and then get this line? Girl, you picked up the iPad because you wanted to doodle. Just doodle.
Right. You're making it very deep, but it's not.
Right. I can't help it. It's something I'm working on. I am not healed from my perfectionism, but I am healing.
Period.
Amen. I keep going back to marriage, but like, I just think about I don't know. I think something else that comes up for me when I think about womanhood, especially being married, I feel like there's a lot of expectations around like taking care of the household. As Taylor may attest, cooking, cleaning was not really my jam growing up. And I lived with my mom until I was 30 years old, right? And so she did a lot of things for me that I definitely took for granted. That now being a married woman living with my man, sometimes I feel like I'm living in a frat house. And it's not because we're like,
y'all both dirty. Y'all both dirty.
See how she be disrespecting me? It's not because we're like pigs, but because I think neither of us really enjoys it. We also go to work, each of us, right? And I think it's not necessarily the first thing I think of. And so just like the mental load of having to maintain a home can feel like a lot for me because it wasn't something I really practiced. I be cooking like every day. I don't really enjoy, like, I don't mind cooking. It's actually the dishes that do me in.
Yeah, you have me thinking, what do we think about a partner who says, I don't mind helping you clean, but you have to give me a list?
I follow this girl on TikTok, a woman on TikTok. Her name's Paige, I think, a Paige Turner. She talks a lot about the mental load and being a wife and being a mother. And she made a really good point that answers your question. She was basically like, there's a lot of assumptions around women just knowing stuff. Like I'm just supposed to know what it takes to run a household, to keep a household clean, how to grocery shop, etc. The answer is we don't know those things inherently. Right. We figure them out
because we don't have a choice.
We figure them out because we don't have a choice, and because society tells us those are things we're supposed to do. And so your partner asking you for a list might seem like they're trying to be helpful, but it's still on your mental load to then think about what the list is. And I circle back to Mom when I'm thinking about this, because she and I used to argue about that. Because I'd be like, what do you want me to do? Just tell me what you want me to do. And she'd be like, look around. pick something, anything. And I'd be like, I don't get why you're mad. And now I get it. Not that I'm mad, right? Like I don't think my husband is doing things to me, or that, like I said, I'm not perfect in this space either. But I now understand the mental load. And then there's this like expectation that I feel that maybe he doesn't feel around who's supposed to be the primary cleaner, cooker, etc., which is, I think, something we as women feel that men clearly do not. Right. And so to provide a list is not like the worst thing in the world. I think what happens, though, when people set themselves up for asking for a list is if you don't do that shit, right, we're going to have a problem. Because now if I come home, I gave you the list, and the floor still ain't mopped, that bathroom's still dirty, and the trash still not taken out. What was the fucking list for? Yeah, because it's still on my mind because I can see it. And so now I'm like holding you to this bar. Now I'm going into extreme hope and I'm cleaning all of this shit in front of your face. Right? And I'm not talking to you either. Well, might want to check that. Might want to check that response. I'm joking. But I think like people can set themselves up for asking for a list, because then you better perform. And if you don't perform, now I'm feeling even more disrespected because I took the time to create that list, give it to you. We agreed upon what would happen, and then you still didn't do it. Did you see the girl? And I don't know if this is real, right? Everything online ain't real. And the narratives that we have, somebody's creating them. So take everything with a grain of salt. But she had sprinkled some sparkles under the mat in the bathroom, some sparkles under the soap dispenser in the bathroom, and some sparkles under the toilet seat. To see if how he was cleaning. Right. All he did was like move a toothbrush off the sink, and all the sparkles were still in their place. So he didn't wipe down not one toilet. He didn't wipe the floors in the bathroom, nor did he wipe the sink down. And that's where weaponizing competence comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you got to have a candid conversation like, are you gaslighting me? Because, like, again, I'm not born knowing how to clean. But if I take a moment to think, I would think that all the surfaces need to be cleaned. And that means moving items out of the space in order to do so. And so if you're not doing that, it almost feels like you want me to think that you can't do it and that I must do it because otherwise it won't get done how I want it to get done. Mm-hmm. And if I want it done a certain way, I should just do it. No.
Right.
You should just get better at it. Just like I work to get better at things I'm not good at.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I'm also thinking about, and I think this is more of like an American westernized way of thinking, it's just that the upkeep of being a woman can be really a lot to think about. I know we really focus heavily on our bodies, internally and externally, fake stuff and non-fake stuff, and those things are
be
pricey.
natural. Get a BBL. Like, which one is it? Lashes, no lashes. Nails, no nails. Work out, but not too much.
Right. Obviously, I think we've gotten in 2025 to the root of just do what's best for you, which is amazing, but it's still an emotional load. Like, it still takes time to grow and realize whether you're doing things for you or not. And so I think that's just something else that women carry. And obviously men carry that too in their own way. But I do think that men are more allowed to let themselves go than women are. And that's just the truth of the matter. So, and actually maybe that's not the truth of the matter. I think that's the truth of the matter if you're in the public eye. In the day-to-day life, I see women and we all look real.
Yeah, you're right. I think it depends on your profession, and whether or not your physique has anything to do with your career. Because that definitely plays a role in like Hollywood celebrity culture. But even if you're a content creator or an influencer, depending on the type of content or influence you'd like to have, you might need to have a certain look in order.
That's why I said entertainment. I think.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Did I say entertainment?
I don't know, child.
Because I think in entertainment where people are looking at you, I think it's what I said.
You need some water, child.
Clearly.
Every few seconds you.
Yes. Anyway. It's spring, okay? It messes with me.
I have allergies kicking in.
But yeah, I think generally we just have these mental loads that we carry. And if we're carrying light, right? And we know that we're doing the things that are best for us on most days. Because I feel like I know Phylicia do the best thing for herself every day. Maybe she don't. I don't know. I don't know this lady. She's a character. But in my mind, she does. And so if we know that for ourselves, that most days we are trying to do the best and show up as best as we can, then we should be able to carry light.
Yeah, I'm a visual person. I need to be able to check off. I did it, otherwise I won't remember.
Which is totally fine. You can carry light in your own way, right? If you need a visual to remind you to let stuff go, or you need a visual to remind you that you accomplished a lot, or that you're valuable, or whatever, to make you light, then that's okay.
I got my little list, y'all. Otherwise, I do not remember, and I'll get stuck in what I didn't do, or what didn't go well. So if you get stuck like that too, consider creating some visuals because they do help. And put them somewhere you're gonna see. I feel like things get lost in your phone. Like, it's okay to have a little poster in your closet.
Also, it's okay for it to not be aesthetic because I feel like that's what holds people back. Like, I'm not about to put this up because that's gonna mess up my wall.
Well, I think I told you I have these little tablets that I got from the Devil's Sweatshop, aka Amazon.
I was like, what?
That I just like write in the things that I think would lead me to being my best self, to see how often in the day or the week I do it. So like some of them are really simple, like eating breakfast, having 16 ounces of water in the morning. Like, I know that sounds like very basic, but again, it goes back to treating yourself well inside and out. I know if I'm eating and drinking right, that means I'm probably going to have a better outlook on my day, a better mood, better energy. If I know I took a nap, if I know I did my drawing on my iPad, if I know I connected with the loved one, I know I'm having a good week.
Okay, holistic health.
Look, I'm trying out here to do my best. And then on some days, we just gonna say fuck it all. And that's okay too. But as long as that's not every day, I know I'm on the right track.
Definitely. kind of tying us up today, I think we should recognize and remember the system isn't going to let up, right?
That's true.
So whatever systems that we're in, the society that we live in is going to continue to put pressure on us to be a certain way and to show up a certain way. But if we can start to practice knowing what's in alignment for us, what actually feels good versus like what is misaligned, and we feel so much resistance while we're doing it. Because I think that lets us know if we're carrying light or if we're carrying, heavy.
Right. Because she said light isn't heavy.
It's peace, right? And so I think we can't confuse growth with misalignment, though.
Right. Part of growing is being a little uncomfortable. But it's like, I guess, knowing the threshold of uncomfortable to know when it's reached the point of misalignment versus... And it could be you're misaligned because you're not ready for that yet. It's not even necessarily like that's the worst thing in the world for you to be doing or to be focused on. It's just you may have more work to do before you get there.
Yeah, you skip some steps. Or it's misaligned because you've just outgrown it. So you've learned everything that you could learn in that setting. And so now it's time to move forward. And so you're carrying heavy because you're carrying the weight of a problem that you don't need to solve anymore.
Right. Something from the past.
So
I didn't think about that like that. That's true.
But yeah, so I think if we're assessing like how we can move forward or what the takeaway is just not letting the systems that we live in control who we are, and doing more self audits for like what feels heavy today and what can I release. Even when you're waking up and going to work in the morning, it's like, oh, I really don't want to go. I feel so terrible. And to me, I'm like, okay, for me as a therapist, I know I have to see all my clients. It's a non-negotiable, right? And usually that's not the thing that's feeling heavy. But then I tell myself, okay, if I have to see a client every period of this school day today, the notes just aren't happening.
Right.
They're not happening today, right? It's something that I can let go of until tomorrow. It's something that I can't carry. Because if I think about it all day, I'm going to feel heavy and I'm not going to be present. And there's probably little things like that in your life that feel heavy and you can't be present with it. I know getting dressed in the morning felt heavy. Trying to pick out an outfit before I go to work when I don't want to go to work was heavy. But on Sunday night, when I'm doing my reset and I have my music on and I can take 2 hours and change and make a mess.
And TikToks.
Right. And just do whatever, then it felt light.
That's real. I think for an example for me, going back to my cleaning, when I first got married, we would have like a cleaning Saturday, a cleaning Sunday, where we would spend 2-3 hours going through the whole place. Life has shifted. That doesn't happen anymore, but the place still needs to get clean. So I have resolved that I do 1 to 2 house things a day. Like 1 is like, all right, girl, you did it. 2 is like, oh, look at you, right? So it could be I cleaned the bathroom today. I wiped all the counters down, cleared the dishes. It could be that I reorganized this cabinet. Whatever I have energy for that day, I basically just have a list of like all the things I could do, and then I just pick one. And so maybe everything is not super spotless all at once, but each of these areas is going to get hit this week. And so I know that because ultimately it's not like for it to look a certain way. I mean, it is helpful to be in a like clean or tidy environment, of course. And it's not like, I said it was a frat house. It's not a frat house. I'm being dramatic.
It's not dirty. It's messy.
Exactly. It's not dirty. It's messy. And so I know my focus is on making sure it is clean and not dirty, right? Because I also think I might have ADHD. So there'd be piles of stuff in places, but those are organized piles. This is organized chaos, and I can live how I want to live. Just because Jack has a super aesthetic home on the gram doesn't mean that that's my reality or my home. But is it clean? Is it disinfected? Cool.
But also it's not theirs either unless they're paying somebody to do it.
Absolutely, which I am also considering. I did get somebody's cleaning lady's information. I need to call Miss Eva up and at least get her in here once a quarter to give me a deep scrub.
Oh, I thought you were going to say once a month.
Once a quarter?
Once a month? It's a little pricey.
It, girl.
But anyways, you've heard what we kind of have tried in the recent timelines of our lives to lighten our load. And I hope that it inspires you to think about what you can do to lighten your load And I think our sister circle question for today is just, what's one thing you can release to feel lighter? Because we don't have to carry the weight of the world and be the light that maybe the world needs.
Right. What are you holding on to that you need to let go of so that you can live like Phylicia?
Period. Because we are light, we are not heavy. Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.